And in these changing times, where video conferencing is becoming the new normal, I think distance will become inconsequential. And I hope our engagement, interactions, relationship, and working together will grow from strength to strength in the months and years to come. I'm also very delighted to know about the warm reception Indian culture receives in Finland due to our shared values to promote happiness, to promote equality, care towards nature and sustainability. The last edition of the annual Cultural Festival of India, celebrated as India Day last year by the Indian Embassy in Finland, had, I'm told, over 15,000 participants. I hope this year's edition on 23rd August 2020 also is a grand success, albeit in a different format. But I do wish the program great success. You have one of our finest diplomats, Ambassador Ravish in Finland. It reflects the importance that Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the government of India give to this relationship with Finland. And I'm sure going forward, we'll continue to expand this engagement, continue to build a stronger and deeper bond between the people of Finland and India and businesses of Finland and India. I must acknowledge that when we read about the huge achievements of Finland in matters of social equality, environment, energy, education, and stable business and economic policy, we learn a lot of lessons, and going forward, we hope to continue to work with Finland to see how not only do we expand our trade and commerce, but also take your guidance and support to help us create that similar ecosystem which will encourage sustainability, which will encourage high-tech manufacturing, which will promote social and economic prosperity for 1.3 billion Indians. In fact, the Finnish word sisu, which I am told means strength of will, in some sense resonates with India's Atmanirbhar Bharat program. We also believe that India should engage with the rest of the world from a position of strength, from a position of self-confidence. And Atmanirbhar Bharat, which will drive India's economic engagement in the future, evolves around greater engagement with the rest of the world. It is not about closing India's doors to international engagement. In fact, it stands to expand India's engagement, in fact, open the doors wider for new technologies, better ways of doing work, better products, high quality products, which will help us improve our own ecosystems for manufacturing, for sustainability, energy security. And my own visit to Finland has shown me that there's huge potential for us to work together. Finland has a small population, but a large economic capability. India has a huge marketplace, and we can leverage your capabilities, your technologies, your ways of engaging with modern world. And together, I think our businesses can prosper and also help the prosperity of all of mankind as we move towards the world's collective effort to achieve the sustainable development goals going forward. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is said that Lord Krishna, whose birthday we celebrated 2 days ago, said to Arjun, and I quote, "It is better to live your own destiny imperfectly than to live an imitation of somebody else's destiny with perfection." I think as we chart out India's destiny, India's course in the future, we believe that while we learn from other countries, while we work and engage with other countries in terms of resilient global value chains, in terms of transparent and equal opportunity multilateral trading arrangements, as we look at taking prosperity to the last man at the bottom of the pyramid, our own destiny will have to be crafted by India. But while crafting that destiny, there's a lot that we can engage with Finland to improve our own strengths, our own capacities, improve our way of doing business, way of working. And despite so much hardship in Finland, the cold weather, harsh and remote places, the way the Finnish people have, through sheer grit and determination, developed their country, their infrastructure, their economy, I'm sure the people of India can learn a lot, and using and leveraging this relationship, we can work together for a better future for our citizens, our people. During the COVID pandemic, there were often opportunities or situations that called for very strong decision making and very bold decision making, which the government of India, led by Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi, never fought shy of. Through the Atmanirbhar Bharat package, we have taken certain very, very bold initiatives to promote Indian industry, to bring private sector participation in newer sectors like mining, space technology, opening up of the agriculture sector to improve their productivity, to improve the quality of their output, to double the farmers' income, and in different ways, as we work towards addressing the challenges of land, labor, liquidity on the credit side, legal frameworks, we are confident that India will overcome COVID, and on the 5 pillars that Prime Minister Narendra Modi has articulated, the 5 pillars of the economy, namely economic development, infrastructure development, improvement in our systems of governance, leveraging our demographic dividend, and using the huge demand that 1.3 billion people of India present as an opportunity, as a business proposition, we shall be able to truly make India a strong nation, a caring nation, and a nation of 1.3 billion happy citizens. We have used all our might to convert this COVID-19 crisis into a big business and social opportunity, into an opportunity to develop our infrastructure, be it our health infrastructure, be it our manufacturing and process improvements that we are looking for. Recently, we have come up with a new education policy, which is significantly aligned to the best practices around the world. We are looking at providing plug-and-play infrastructure to invite businesses to work in India, faster clearances, more affordable finance, We're trying to lower logistics costs and leverage on the availability of high quality and skilled yet low cost labor and manpower that India has to offer. We believe that we would like to be a preferred and trusted trading partner of countries engaged in global trade, countries that believe in transparent and rule-based, honest systems of government. And I think Finland and India are best suited to work as partners and leverage this opportunity. In fact, as we move forward to redefine the best friend forever policy between India and Finland, I think we have an opportunity to use BAFF, business, friendship, and future, as the three pillars on which we will expand our work with Finland. Both India and Finland strive for providing fair business opportunities, transparency, and openness, inviting Finnish companies and investors to come and work in India. We would like to offer our hands of friendship so that we can continue to grow this relationship. Our annual bilateral trade volume of $2.5 billion is barely the tip of the iceberg. If we increase our people-to-people relationship, our institutional and cultural interactions, I have no doubt in my mind we can see a quantum jump in our friendship and business and work together for a better future, for a sustainable globe and a better future for the people of India and the people of Finland. Great times and difficulties are an opportunity to change. Let us use this opportunity in the best interest of both countries. As Lord Buddha said, happiness never decreases by being shared. Let us all work together for sharing happiness and sharing prosperity for all the people of the world, all the people who have been on the margins, who have been at the bottom of the pyramid, remain deprived of a good quality of life. Let us work together so that that man at the bottom of the pyramid can see light at the end of the tunnel. My best wishes to all of you in your business, in your work. I pray for the good health of all of you and your near and dear ones, and for the continued prosperity of the people of Finland and the people of India. Thank you very much. Namaskar.
Thank you very much, Minister. I can pick up a lot of things from your address, but two things, of course: BFF, business, friendship, and future, and we work with fairness, transparency, which we always strive to do. India, of course, and Finland is the happiest country in the world, as you would know, and India is always happy. So both countries working together, like always, will be great. With that, if I can just, with your permission, open for a few questions, maybe 4 or 5. I know you have other meetings as well. And my first question, and I would request that whoever asks the question can have their video on, if as an option, and their microphone on as well. So with that, my first question is to Mr. Mikko Postonen. And Mikko, if I can hand over, I can see you already on the video. If I can hand over to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Amit, and thank you very much, Your Excellency, Honorable Minister, for your very encouraging and inspiring words. So then, as we already heard, that you are truly a friend of Finland. And my question is that as Finnish companies have been investing in India and having local manufacturing in India already for decades, and then the quantity has been expanding year after year, and naturally then it is very much hope that they would invest to India even more. So then my question is that how can we ensure that when they start manufacturing here, either in various states or especially in special economic zones or in new economic areas, that their export also would be allowed without any surprise restrictions, and maybe even more so, how can we ensure that the supply chain for their sourcing, let it be components or raw materials, would be ensured and secured to allow that smooth and efficient manufacturing. Thank you, Your Excellency. Thank you.
Can I have all the questions, Amit, so that I can give a composite answer at the end?
Yeah, absolutely. We can do that. Next question, if Manoj, I think your hand up.
Yes. Sir, good afternoon. And thank you very much for your honest and very good.
Manoj, you've got some disturbance.
Is it better now?
Manoj, I guess you've got two devices on, but while you're setting it up,
I think it's better now.
Okay, fine.
Yeah. So, sir, I have got two questions. One, I would appreciate you joining us to share your view personally. It's a really indeed pleasure to have you. In fact, I have been an ardent fan of yours speech and your speed. And Amit has rightly said about that you are one of the most one of the ministers who have been very accessible to the industry, and that is really talking a huge volume about your approach. I have got two questions with you. One, when you talk about ease of doing business, I can see a lot of things have got better. But if you look at operationally, a lot of things which are taking operational time of companies like ours, and we come from a different culture of doing, and we need a lot of changes in our software globally. We have to integrate. So, is there any move towards making things a little simpler in running the business? Because what happens is so many multiple submission of so many things, and that takes away a lot of time of people like ours who need to sit in the office and do all these things, which takes away a lot of energy, which is unproductive, I think, from an investor perspective. That's the one question. Second, when you talk about reaction to any situation, I know it is 1.3 billion and it is no comparison with anybody else. But do you think we are approaching to a scenario where we'll have a 5 to 10 years planning in making? So what happens is, as a business leaders, we have got a roadmap to plan. Because if you look at our companies, they have always a 5-year plan to see. But a lot of changes happening in the government policies, which does not help us to continue with that. So these are the two questions from my side, sir. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you, Manoj. Next question. Yes. I think I've got Sanjay Malik's hands up, and yeah, please come on the video directly. Sanjay is the CEO of Nokia.
All right. Yeah, thank you very much, Minister, for inspiring words. And every time you speak, I think it really motivates all of us. So I think my question is a little bit related to the first question, also regarding investment, which has been done by all these companies in India. So some of these companies are manufacturing in India, have all the R&D in India, large workforce, and we have been doing that for last 25 years. and it keeps on increasing. The investment here in India keeps on increasing, and creation of jobs, creation of value also keeps on improving. But recently we have seen that in some part, and sorry that I'm a little open here, some part in bureaucracy, it is taken that MNCs who have investment which has been done in India, manufacturing in India, but they are not taken as make in India. It's not taken as the local vendors. So the market access gets restricted in some of the government business, and maybe beyond that also. So what's your view on that? Thank you very much.
Thanks, Sanjay. Anybody else? We'll take one more question. Suresh, you have a question? Yeah, Suresh. Suresh is
Yes, I'm Suresh Kumar here, Managing Director for Cargotech India. We have a specific question that request that measures like anti-dumping duty be imposed judiciously and not include products that are manufactured in countries and trade blocs with whom India has free trade agreements such as Thailand, Malaysia or South Korea, as these are sort of additional import costs for the Indian consumers.
What business are you?
We are in packaging, BOP packaging.
Great.
okay. Is there anybody else with a question? I think maybe I think we're probably short of time anyway. So we'll take these questions first, the minister, and then come back if we have time.
We'll have to wind up also.
Yeah, sure.
So thank you. These were very, very relevant, pertinent questions, and gives me also an opportunity to clarify any misapprehension that any of you may be carrying. Miko, thank you for all the good work that the Embassy of Finland has been doing. We know that these are trying times during COVID, but I must appreciate and acknowledge that all the diplomats must be going through quite a harrowing period. And I must compliment all of you maintaining the flow of people who want to go back, come in, all of that very smoothly. I believe Air India has moved quite a lot of people from India back to Finland during this period also. As regards your question that once a manufacturing unit is set up, export should not have any restriction and raw material supply should be secure. Let me tell you that India very, very rarely has put in export restrictions. I know one product that's restricted, for example, is iron ore of a certain grade, but that's a stated policy around the world where countries are trying to protect the raw material prices and export value-added products. Many other countries have similar policy. India has this for many years, and I don't think any Finnish companies are impacted, or if at all, they would have come in with their eyes open. Also, it's only for a certain grade of iron ore, not beyond that. During this COVID period, just around the time India went in for the lockdown, we had a lot of shortage of personal protection equipment. We had problems of ventilators, testing kits, and we went scouting through the length and breadth of the world. Nobody was willing to supply us. I asked the 20 top companies in the country to also have an outreach across the world. They were not able to get any quantities of significance. So much so that, of course, it turned out to be a blessing in disguise that today we have ramped up our manufacturing so much that from a few thousand a day, we now make probably more than 400,000 personal protective equipments every day. We have made so many ventilators that we have surplus. Our testing kits, we had a capacity only of testing 2,500 a day. Today we are testing between 600,000 to 700,000 every single day, all with Indian equipment, Indian testing kits. Now, that's the resilience of India. But the whole world, nobody was willing to supply us. One of the reasons we had to go in for a lockdown at short notice was the lack of preparedness for such a pandemic of this nature, because the country had never in the last 70 years planned for this kind of health infrastructure. But at the same time, India had something to offer to the rest of the world, and that was medicines. We are often called the pharmacy of the world. We brought in restrictions, but mind you, those restrictions were not meant to stop the export or not allow the supplies of paracetamol or hydroxychloroquine to the rest of the world. The restrictions were only brought in to ensure, of course, that our Indians' requirement is met, the requirement of 1.3 billion people. We couldn't have had a pandemic impact such a large number of people. It would have had a huge impact on the whole world, if you ask. But our intention of placing a restriction was to ensure everybody in the world gets equitable supply of medicine during this period of crisis, rich or poor. Otherwise, the rich countries would have cornered all these medicines, probably even be willing to pay an arm and a leg and pick up all these medicines. And the small island states, the poor countries of Africa, many countries of Latin America, probably they would never have got these medicines. What we did is we restricted it for a short period, ensured that over 150 countries around the world got whatever medicines they want. We didn't refuse anybody at all. In fact, 50 countries or more got it free of charge. That was the spirit of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, the spirit of friendship, the care and concern for the people of the world. And in fact, the very ethos of our culture is reflected in two words, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. The world is one family. So I can assure you, we very, very, very rarely have used export restrictions. And should there be any such concern that any of your industry has, please flag it off immediately with us or even with me personally. As regards sourcing raw material, even if we put import duty, even if we put a license or put any restriction, which sometimes because of circumstances we have to do, even in those cases, for export, raw material is allowed to be imported freely. There is never any restriction put on import of materials which are meant for onward export. If at all restrictions are put, they are after a lot of study, a lot of thought goes behind any restrictions on import or on increasing the import duty, more so because we don't necessarily get fair and equal treatment with many other parts of the world. And sometimes there's always collateral damage. So we may be having a problem with one part of the world, which is probably dumping goods or under invoicing goods or sending cheap quality goods. But because of MFN under WTO, the rules apply to all. But should there be any concerns of any Finnish company, specifically where their raw material chain gets impacted for exports, or there's any restriction which is impacting their business model, which is fair and just, I assure you we'll find a solution. But if you are looking to import from low quality products like our friend Mr. Suresh Kumar suggested, that we should not put ADD on import on FTA countries, that positively I cannot assure. Mr. Suresh Kumar, ADD is imposed through a very transparent quasi-judicial process. If somebody is circumventing country of origin rules, somebody is dumping goods in India, if there's a surge in import, if people are redirecting goods from another country which is not eligible for FTA benefits and routing it through an FTA country, we will have to take action. Because I think the rules of fair play and fair trade do not allow that. Similarly, many FTA countries do not allow access to Indian goods, even though they are a part of FTA protocols. They put non-tariff barriers or other restrictive measures. Gone are the days that India is going to sit and lie back and just take that on the chin. India will have to plan its own measures, whether it is by way of anti-dumping duty, whether it's by way of some restriction. We will have to take equal and proportional measures to protect India's domestic manufacturing base. And very often, your Finnish companies come to me seeking anti-dumping duty to protect them. At that time, you can't have different yardsticks. That if a Finnish manufacturer in India is affected by indiscriminate or unfair trade means, he wants protection. But so that another Finnish company gets cheap or low quality or goods where through quasi-judicial proceeding we find that there is dumping or a surge in import which is detrimental to domestic industry, even then we should just tolerate it. That will certainly not be possible for him. Mr. Manoj Soni, I fully appreciate your point of view. We have to simplify our processes, the submissions, the regulatory framework. All this unproductive work has to be cut down. Let me assure you, my own ministry, and for that matter, the entire government of India is seized of this matter. The Honorable Prime Minister is leading this initiative from the battleground, and we are working to simplify processes, remove all unproductive laws, reduce regulatory overbearance or overreach, reduce compliance pressures, and I would urge you to share with us areas where you think we can simplify by self-certification, self-regulation. Our only concern is that very often certain unscrupulous elements misuse this simplification or self-regulation. So I would urge you to apply your mind, get your team together. Maybe the Finnish chamber can put a team together, study our processes where you think good ideas can help us simplify. We are open to ideas. Right now, we are in the process of preparing a single window for all clearances. It will mean all the central government ministries, then the states, then the local bodies. So it's a very elaborate exercise and technological challenge that we are working on. But I assure you, we are on the job, and I invite you to be a part of that effort through your ideas and your experiences. Of course, changes in government policy are bound to happen, and I appreciate your point of view that your business plans often get affected. But if there's any change which is affecting your long-term plans, which is retrospective in nature, then please do get back to us and we'll try to find a solution. But you will appreciate that as circumstances change, one has to change. You can't be on a pedestal and refuse to align yourself with the changing, harsh realities of the world. I mean, if we look at some of the issues that have happened in the last 2 or 3 months, you will appreciate that India has to react, India has to take countervailing measures, and therefore change is inevitable. But I do appreciate every investor is looking for regulatory certainty, stable policy, predictability. We are committed to it. Our changes are no more retrospective in nature. We always try to keep it prospective, but we are open to a dialogue if there's anything that has bothered you or Finnish businesses in any way. Mr. Sanjay Malik of Nokia was worried that MNCs in India are not taken as local vendors. I appreciate your point of view, but I'll tell you where the problem comes from. many MNCs in India have just set up screwdriver operations. And our current system is that we normally look at Make in India based on value addition. Some cases 20%, some cases 50%. I was interacting with the auto companies yesterday, and I said the same thing to them. The automobile import has a duty of maybe 100%. Components have a duty of 20-25%. Now, if all you're going to do is import the component, just assemble the car and sell it to the Indian market, and it's a big market, a growing market, then really you're not bringing in too much value to the Indian ecosystem. But wherever companies are bringing in value, wherever they are manufacturing in the true spirit of the word, then I grant your point. I will take it up if there's any, if you can send me any specific instance, then I'm happy to take it up with the concerned ministries. Or if DPIIT needs to come up with a clarification, I'm happy to do that. But it will take into account that whether the MNC is truly doing a Make in India project, or is it only bringing in screwdriver or low quality value add in India, only from the intention of meeting the Make in India norms, but not really adding significant value to the Indian technology or manufacturing ecosystem. Thank you. I hope I've covered all the 4 questions.
Thank you very much, sir.
I think you have, Minister, and Minister, I think we've captured all your suggestions, and as FinChem, I can assure you that we will put up some teams for some very positive and constructive suggestions that we can take so that our Indian economy can grow with the help of some Finnish technology and other things. But let me just now try and wind up. But I'm very, very grateful to you personally as well to having accepted our invitation. And may I, on behalf of FinChem, Finland Chamber of Commerce, Embassy of Finland, and Her Excellency Ambassador of Finland, and business leaders of Finnish companies, thank you for your time and your very open answers and very positive answers to the questions that we asked. I know the questions could have been unlimited. It could go on and on because I could see many hands going up. But I think we will give you a lot of questions later. I know we're constrained for time, but we will do that for sure. Definitely. But it's always a pleasure to have you with us, sir. And thank you once again very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Amit. Thank you, Excellency Ambassador. Good wishes to all of you and your near and dear ones. Stay safe, stay healthy, and please convey my warmest regards to the Honorable Minister for the Economy in Finland and to the Prime Minister of Finland. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Okay.